YouTube. Welcome to my YouTube channel. You have just tuned into a Better Black America TV on YouTube, and today is November 19th, 2024. And that 19 is not born. Now that the smoke is starting to clear. Now that the smoke is starting to clear. It's time to have adult conversations about the pathway moving forward. Because I would say 75% of the nation, 75% of the United States of America is literally on the right path. Okay, there's a small minority out there that's controlled and ran by minority groups to pretty much, the fear tactics, the fear mongering, the propaganda, and all of these things that, that they play and use in terms of infiltrating or affecting the human minds. Because you can look at TV, a lot of these dark left-wing democratic organizations are pretty much running the old scam. And a lot of us understand, and individuals that understand history, the COINTEL program is still in effect, and it's being ran, in the media, is being ran in propaganda, with the text messages that has went out, the text messages about blacks and browns reporting to particular areas because they're going to be slaves and all of that. Those are scare tactics that Democrats use to pretty much stay, I wouldn't say in power, but to stay relevant. Because, history repeats itself, and this is the first time in our lives that we can actually brutally honest with ourselves and make sure that history does not repeat itself, because this is a end of an era that we have witnessed, and we are not going to allow this to happen again. We, as the American people, because the Constitution says we the people, not them, they, or whatever they want to call themselves, but the Constitution says we the people, and God's people shall not perish due to the lack of knowledge. And today is the 19th, which is knowledge born. So we talk about it today. We're going to talk about Project 2025. I'm actually pulled up their website, and I'll get to it in a minute when a few people get on. And I'm just going to go through the bullet points, and then we're going to have a grand discussion, because I know individuals that's out there scamming right now. That's scamming. They're talking to Democrats and getting paid to, talk about a project that actually is just a bunch of crap. And I'm just going to say it, it's just a bunch of crap. As long as we Constitution out there, we will never have a situation where some propaganda or some left-wing or right-wing organization can control what we do. And I'm so glad that the smoke is starting to clear. People are starting to get their minds right. And we're starting to really understand what's going on, because, like I said, Trump is president right now, or president-elect, and we're still here. Okay, we still got to go to work. We got to still pay our bills. We still got to do what we got to do. But as American people, we really got to understand it's time for us to come together collectively as a group of people and make sure that we don't get played. Okay, because when you look at the Democratic Party as a whole, now, in fighting for its survival, for the last 160 years. After the Civil War, the Democratic Party literally was supposed to be disbanded, but somehow in the Ku Klux Klan, and this is a fun fact here, the Ku Klux Klan, was literally created and used as scare tactics to make the newly freed slave, to scare them and to force them to stay in a box and not associate with the Freedom Party at the time, which was the Republican Party, along with Frederick Douglass, and along with Harriet Tubman. But a lot of people really do not understand. So it is what it is. So we got to really, take a deep dive and have a conversation. And I know that I'm going to have more discussions about this, because Project 2025, we're going to really take a deep dive. But I'm just going to focus on the bullet points today. And it is what it is. And we really got to understand what's going on. And then when you deal with American people, 75% of the American people are literally, whether you voted for Trump or not, in a better place. The only people that got to worry, are, the trolls, the people who are on the wrong side of history, the trans community, all of these things like that. So it is what it is. And when I talk about race, Okay, because I got trolls boogies in there, and I love trolls because I talk about race. It's about knowledge and education. It's not race baiting. The Democratic Party is the party of race baiting. Okay, when I talk about talking about to end racism, to create one race, and that's the human race. Okay, and I'm serious, and it is what it is. And like I said, knowledge is power. And when you have individuals that got a name call and got a troll and all of that, the individuals who really don't love themselves, individuals either, their job to iron sharpens iron, or it's their job just to, make themselves look bad. And just like on the video at the Nazis walking through Columbus, Ohio, with their faces covered, okay, with the cameras. And to me, it reminded me of the white kids, or the white was running around with Black Lives Matters. Okay, all those white people that was with Black Lives Matter, supporting Black Lives Matters. But what happened? Where is Black Lives Matters at today? Where is Black Lives Matters at today? So let's go ahead and get to it. We got to end racism, and that's knowledge is power. And we're going to go ahead and just dive right on in, because Project 2025, over the election, I was just hearing so much about it. I was hearing so much about 2025. Oh, have you heard about Project 2025, all this stuff? And then come to find out, when I watched it and they asked Trump about it, and he made a decision. He basically said he had nothing to do with it. So Project 2025, presidential transition project that's created by the Heritage Foundation. I'm actually on their website. Okay. And it says building for conservative victory through policy, personnel, and training. So it's kind of like a litmus test, or it's kind of like no different than the Urban League, no different than Black Lives Matters had, no different than, the NAACP. These are situations where these are some groups of people who want to save conservatives, okay, because they know that progressives have progressively moved so far away from God and become immoral. But the crazy thing about it, when you keep on going and keep on going, what comes after Gen Z? Gen A. Okay, now we're back. And Donald Trump said on his first day in office, he's going to sign an executive order to basically, make that only a male and females are recognized in the United States. Okay, so when Harris was saying she got to, we don't want to turn, we're going to turn the page, we're not going to look back. The next page said the end, start from front. And at the beginning, it was just male and female. And we all know that. So Project 2025, and I'm reading this off of their website. And I just got the bullet points because it's a lot to dissect. And we're going to basically have the conversation, end the conversation. Good morning to you guys. I appreciate y'all. We're going to have a conversation, and we're going to talk about it, ask questions, take a deep dive in it. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet points I'll cover today, because knowledge is power. So Project 2025, let me see here. Project 2025 is a historic movement brought together by over 100 respected organizations. It didn't say Donald Trump. It says by over 100 respected organizations from across the conservative movement to town the deep state. Pause. And the deep state is the Democratic Party. And this is why, they troll the whole program. They trolled Donald Trump, and they used their propaganda and got all in the world, got all in the media. They didn't want their era to end. And when Harris got lacked in the presidential election, we just basically dawned on the end of an era, and we all basically lived to see it. Okay. Live to see it. I say it's real. It's not real. I mean, it's real in the sense of its context and its creation, but can it be facilitated? And the short answer is no, because there's nothing that can actually go through without an act of the House. And that includes the Congress and the Senate. Okay. So let me see here. Project 2025 is a historic movement brought together by over 100 respected organizations from across the conservative movement to take down the deep state, which is the Democratic Party, and return the government to the people. And the Constitution says we, the people. It's a mandate for leadership. The Conservative Promise, published in April of 2023, is a project of more than 400 scholars and policy experts from around the country. Now, the book offers a menu of policy suggestions. Okay. to meet our country's deepest challenges and put America back on track, including, and I'm going to pause right there. So it's time for a revolution. You are absolutely right. And the revolution is to go against anything that is anti-American, anything that is not for the people, and not for the people, all the people. I'm not talking about a minority group. I'm not talking about the pronouns. I'm talking about all human beings and all humanity. So, number one, in terms of the bullet points, okay, I'm going to order the book. I'm going to read it. But just today, in the sake of time, I just got an hour today. We're going to basically go over the bullet points. And the first bullet point of this Project 2025 that so many people are scared of, okay, the book offers a menu of policy suggestions to meet our country's deepest challenge and put America back on track. And let me see here, a conservative movement, literally a black conservative by default, because I'm a heterosexual alpha male, to take down the deep state, and the deep state is the Democratic Party. So the first bullet point on their website: secure the border, finish building the wall, and deport illegal aliens. Okay, now Spook said, is it real? Well, that bullet point is real, Spooks, because Donald Trump is basically talking about using the United States military for mass deportation day one after he get inaugurated. So that one's real. Okay. See, they're not talking about, you know, the ones that make sense for America, okay? Because securing the southern border is what 75% of the American people want, whether you voted or not. Okay. Because from the Democratic side, 10 million voters did not show up at the polls. There were 10 less voters from the Democratic Party that voted for Joe Biden. So that literally was a protest vote, and those individuals who didn't think, you know, that didn't even waste their time to go in there. It was a vote not only against the Democratic Party, but a vote against Kamala Harris. Now, the first bullet point: secure the border, finish building the wall, and deport illegal aliens. Okay. Now, on the campaign trail, when they debated, Harris, when she pretty much went on CNN, she pretty much was in favor of building the wall because she knew how much a open border hurt her by being the border czar. And it's crazy. And it's crazy. And let me see here in the H minus, if we secure the border, the Mexican people be better off too. Absolutely. Because we can actually invest in Mexico. And when they say secure the border, it's not even about Mexicans, because the border is a transitional area where all migrants come through. Haitians, Jamaicans, you know, the Vietnamese, all types of people come through that southern border. So a good Mexican, a true Mexican, you know, I have no problem having dual citizenship and living in Mexico. But somehow, some way, the Harris administration say, if you make it up to the United States, or the Harris Biden administration say, if you can make the United States, you know, we'll give you food. We'll human traffic you all around the country, get a chance to pick where you want to live, and we'll take care of you. So this is why the Trump administration, or the American people, saw in the last 4 years such a overcrowding and a border push. But people don't really want to talk about the truth. Obama was one of the major deportation presidents, and a lot of those pictures were, you know, with them in cages, came out of the Obama administration. And I personally know a lot of coworkers that went from DOD to ICE because they were offering, you know, good position and good pay to pretty much have prisons for illegal immigrants and the deportation with the contract with Homeland Security. And it is what it is. Now, these are grave times for Americans, and I appreciate you and I agree. So the first bullet point was to Project 2025, secure the border, the wall, and deport illegal immigrants. It didn't say all. It said illegal immigrants. Now, if you're criminals and things like that, like I said, Trump, that's real, because Trump has pretty much talked about that he may use the United States military. He may use the United States military to pretty much do his mass deportation. And then the second bullet point is de-weaponize the federal government by increasing accountability and oversight of the FBI and DOJ. Stop right there. Tell me what's wrong with that. I got you. I got some of you beautiful people in the comments. Tell me what's wrong with that. De-weaponize the federal government, increasing accountability and oversight of the FBI and Department of Justice. What is wrong with that? I'm sure all American people will support that, unless you're a hater. Unless you're a hater or a troll and you don't care. But at the end of the day, we know without a shadow of a doubt, the FBI the Department of Justice should have some type of oversight. And if you do not, the daughters of Malcolm X, they got an attorney by the name of Ben Crump, who was he went viral doing the Black Lives Matters and George Floyd. He was George Floyd's attorney for the family. They pretty much the United States government for $100 million. And they pretty much saying that they're suing the FBI, CIA, and Department of Justice. So if that's not real, then you pretty much, like I said, it is what it is. And de-weaponizing the federal government by increasing accountability and oversight of the FBI and DOJ. What's wrong with that? Every time we heard the Project 2025, it was negative because it was Democrats, pretty much selling their souls to pretty much use these talking points to protect the deep state, just like the celebrities were paid to promote Harris. And when I say promote, I didn't even hear any of them say, I'm going to vote for Harris. They said, I stand with her, I support her, and do what you need to. And I didn't hear them pretty much get an endorsement, but to be, a $1 billion campaign over the last 90 days and to be in the red for $20 million and the DNC is pretty much being dismantled, then something really went wrong. Okay, so number one, in terms of the bullet points, okay, secure the southern border, finish building the wall, and deport illegal aliens. Number two, de-weaponize the federal government by increasing accountability and oversight of the FBI and DOJ. Nobody has a problem with that. Point number three, drill, baby, drill. Unleash American energy production to reduce energy prices. Drill, baby, drill. Nothing's wrong with that. When I say drill, baby, drill, that is a talking point that President-elect Trump has used, because the only way we can bring down our gas prices is to use our own resources. If we continue to buy foreign oil, if we continue to buy foreign energy, then as American people, we get taxed on that and we pay at a higher rate. When Trump was in office, we was drilling and gas in California got down under $3. And that's pretty good. When I'm talking about 275, 250, 233, I've seen it 199 in some places. But then to have it under the Biden administration, after they destroyed the Keystone Pipeline, day one, gas prices soared. I've seen it $7.99. I've seen it $8.99 off the freeways, and that's real. So number three, unleash American energy production to reduce energy prices. And that will be just for the working class. That would be just for the working class and middle class people. It is what it is. What you got? Let me see. Make America Great Again sounds good. It's sounding better, because the deep state, and I'm gonna start saying that because they're turning out to be a deep state. I really didn't believe that, but after that, $1 billion in campaign and went 20 million in the red, trying to get a celebrity endorsements, that kind of got me as well. Let me see here. Suckers born every minute, apparently. Absolutely, because all the suckers, and I'm in these comments because all the suckers believe that 2025, this Project 2025 was some negative context or some negative things that was anti-American when it's turning out to be pro-American. And what they did, they took out the negative talking points and pretty much tried their best to attach Donald Trump to it, and knew that suckers everywhere would not read, and suckers everywhere would be dumb and even pay attention and do their own due diligence and see it for themselves, because that's what a sucker is. And I appreciate that comment because you're 100% right. I'm going to do one more in the comment before I get going. America, amen. America needs to move forward and become greatness. Absolutely. Because this is the greatest nation. And I studied the Constitution, and as a constitutionalist, domestic tranquility. We need to be tranquil here domestically in America. And when I attach that Bible to it, on earth as it is in heaven. So let me see here. Let me see the first 3 bullet points. Secure the southern border, finish building the wall, and deport illegal aliens. Nobody has a problem with that. De-weaponize the federal government by increasing accountability and oversight of the FBI and DOJ. Nobody have a problem with that. Okay. Everybody is struggling at the pump. Gas is high. Number 3, in terms of the bullet points on their website, unleash American energy production to reduce energy prices. And I'm sure nobody has a problem with that. Okay. And then number 4, cut the growth of government spending to reduce inflation. Wow. Wow. I thought Project 2025 was a bad thing. Okay. Because the presidential election went down to inflation, immigration, okay, in the economy. So basically, cut the growth of government spending to reduce inflation. So a lot of these government spending, the people have to pay that back. This is why, when you look at the taxes and on the midterms, and then the propositions, when they talk about bonds and things like that, it was a no this year for most people because you got to pay a bond back. So that's crazy. And Donald Peterson, I know you trolling right now because you said gas prices aren't high. Man, that's a bunch of crap. Gas prices is high. Okay, gas prices need to be over the 250 on the national scale. Okay, now it did come down a little bit, but gas prices are extremely high. So knock it off. Gas is under $4 in Chicago. That's fine and all, but it used to be under $3. Okay. It used to be under $3. So we got some trolls. So good morning to you, Donald Peterson. And clearly gas prices are not high, but for an individual, and he's speaking for himself because he got big dough. I understand that. But for an individual that got kids, that got to take these kids to school every day, that's struggling paycheck to paycheck, gas is under $4, but just say it's $3.99. Okay. And you got to, put gas in your car every day. You got to make a decision. Do I buy my kids breakfast at McDonald's, which prices are high, okay, because of inflation and the raising of the minimum wage? And then do I put gas in my car? So think about that. So let's not be selfish, Donald Peterson, because gas prices are high, because all you got to do is use your common sense and think back what they used to be. Okay, because I don't want to age myself, but when I was in high school, gas price was 83 cents. Okay. And then in 2020, in the 2016, around that area, when I invested in American Steel, American Oil, the Keystone Pipeline, gas in California was like under $3 and $2.50 a gallon. And now, right now, you can't find no gas in LA. I'm talking about Los Angeles, California. You can't find no gas under $4.99. Okay. If it's under $3, I have not seen that. It'd be $4.50, $4.99, $4.60, $4.58, $4.99, forth. Okay. And that is very expensive. So when you unleash American energy production to reduce energy prices, it's not just gas. It's not just gas. Think about it. It's heating. Okay. It's cooling. It's a whole lot of that. It is what it is. So when you talk about, Project 2025, I'm trying to get to the bad part. Where's the bad stuff at? Okay. Because that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, in terms of the bullet points that I'm on: secure the southern border, finish building the wall, port illegal aliens. Nobody have issue with that. De-weaponize the federal government. Absolutely. By increasing accountability and oversight of the FBI and Department of Justice. I have a problem with that. Unleash American energy production to reduce energy prices. And I misspoke, energy prices. That gas is just a part of that component. But I'm sure this winter, guys are going to get, you got your cooling in terms of your electricity bill with your AC. And then now you're going to be with your heat and gas, you're going to feel it. So I'm sure everybody will agree that we can spend less when it comes to heating, cooling, and gas. I'm sure. Okay. Now let me see here. And cut the government. Number 4, cut the growth of government spending to reduce inflation. This election was about inflation and the economy. Okay. Everybody on the exit polls talked about inflation. So this Project 2025 wants to cut the growth of government spending to reduce inflation. Okay. Number 5, make federal bureaucrats more accountable. Their demographic in terms of electing a president and Congress. So when you say accountable, meaning the regions or the communities that pretty much you represent. Like Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters literally lives in DC, but she's the congresswoman for South Los Angeles. We only see Maxine Waters only every 4 years. they spend a lot of time. I watch a lot of these, the C-SPAN and a lot of the government conversations, and they're in Washington. They're not doing their jobs. So we as a people, this is one of the ones that I'm gonna put I'm gonna underline, because the American people can help, the elected officials, because they can't be at 10 places at one time because they're only human. You can do their job as an elected official, but where's the accountability? The ability has to be on the grassroots level and have to be and this is one that I'm gonna put a star by, because the one the American people is going to have to help out with, because how can they be accountable from the demographic that they're in, the demographic location, if they're DC doing their job in which they are paid to do? And that's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, improve education. Improve education. And I'm hoping that means public. Improve education by moving control and funding of education from DC bureaucrats directly to the parents and state and the local governments. Come on, man. I thought Project 2025 was a bad deal. I'm gonna get in those comments. I thought Project 2025 was a bad deal. Improve education by moving control and funding of education from DC bureaucrats directly to parents and the state and local government. So that means if you move the funding directly to the parents, that was No Child, what was that? No Child Left Back with Bush. Okay. Meaning if you live in a school district, and this is facts right here, a school district that sucks. So 1 star, and it's a 10-star rating. That means you can actually take your child to a better school district, and the funding that would have went to that failing school, they will lose that funding, and you could take your child to another school. What's wrong with that? But these are conversations that we can have as the people. But, when you're dealing in politics, you have to draw a hard line on the side that you're on. I'm a conservative liberal. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. But this is our first time in our lifetime where we can actually participate as the grassroots and participate as human beings, because we have just dawned in on an era when you have a shellacking of the popular vote, the electoral college, you got the House, you got the Senate, and the Supreme Court is already stacked. This means that the government, United States, won. So now we, the people, get an opportunity to practice we have not been able to do, because their democracy was to speak for us. But what they did was progressively move us away from God, make us take races and make them ethnicities and put them in a pool of trans and all sorts of things. And now, turn the page and it said the end. They came up with Gen Z. Now we back at Gen A, where we only recognizing male and female. So improve education, moving control of funding of education from DC bureaucrats directly to the parents and the state and local government. So I believe that's school choice and No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind was a Republican mandate by George W. Bush, and he was trying to do the same thing. And then this particular program right now, school choice, meaning you get a chance to go to a better school. Just have a gifted child and you happen to live in a school district that's failing. It's hurting the child and hurting the growth of the child, and it's destroying their potential because they're forced to deal with DC bureaucrats who are literally not even in the communities that they, of this, where their constituents live or the voters live. They're in DC. And this is why when they said make federal bureaucrats more accountable for the demographic of the Congress, of the people that we elect, this is why that is so important, and it ties in. And let me see here in the final bullet point that I'm going to discuss today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The one. And you ready for this one? And then I'll get into the comments. It says ban biological males from competing in women's sports. Drop the mic. Who in their right mind don't support that? Now, and I'm sure these are in terms of the bullet points that they want us to see, but we're going to take a deep dive. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to be, one-sided. I'm going to go and do my due diligence on another live or another live stream. And we're going to talk about the negatives or the components that they were supposed to scare us about, because none of this scares me. It actually tells me that, hey, nothing wrong with this project, because banning biological males from competing in women's sports, who in the chat, I've been gaining money. My stocks is through the roof. And I'm talking to you, Jack Black. So Jack, go ahead and go and start subscribing to some of these cryptocurrency experts. Follow Elon Musk, because the crypto industry is booming right now. And I've been gaining a lot. Now, if you invest in Boeing and all of those other organizations, I understand that, but that has nothing to do with Trump being in office. You got to follow the money. So you got to follow the money. So subscribe, hit that like, hit that notification. I will be sharing some of that information, because we like I said, my stock, and I wish I could show you right now, because things have changed. Okay. But in the sense of Project 2025, want to ban biological males from competing in women's sport. Put that in the 25, want to ban biological males from competing in women's sport. Put that in the comments. Who want males, biological males? Who want biological males? Who want males, biological males? Who want biological males to compete in women's sports? Okay, where there's the hate. The hate is not, and let me see here, that's us, Elton Bryant. That's not hate. That's common sense, because all men are not created equal. So when you put a man on the court or on the field with a woman, it is not fair. A woman cannot do what a man does. That's some fake news, some Democrat stuff, because a woman can't do what a man does. Okay, a woman is who she is, and a man is who he is. And when they work together, it works perfectly, okay, in harmony, because a woman cannot compete with a male. Okay, just like with the Billie Jean King played, a comedian in why didn't Billie Jean King at the time play McEnroe? Think about it. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's time to grow up and pivot and unlearn the bull crap that they taught us, and unlearn the bull crap that they taught us. There's no hate about banning males from competing in women's sports. Only if you are a male who's not a good athlete, who cannot make the basketball team, okay, or the track team, and then you have a bright idea. I'm going to just say I'm a woman, and then I'm going to go in the woman's bathroom and look at their breasts, look at them naked, all of that, and act as if I'm a woman, and then I'm going to destroy them in sports. Just like the boxer, in the Olympics, the female with the hormone blockers and all of this stuff. This is like, we got to have some common sense. We got to have some common sense. And let me see here. Danielle said the pharmaceutical industry is worried. Absolutely, because the pharmaceutical industry, big pharma, it's all about that paper. And you have a president in office that's going to hold them accountable. And I said, it is what it is. And Jack Black said that's going to hurt the public schools. It's going to hurt the public schools, but somehow, and this is why I do what I do, okay? Because I can see both sides, the flip side. I'm responding to Jack Black that let me see here, improve education by moving control of funding of education from DC bureaucrats directly to the parents and state and local governments. He's basically saying that will hurt the public schools, but the public schools will be put in a position to be accountable. It hurts the public schools because they're not educating our children. It hurts the public schools, and it's purposeful to hurt the public schools, because a lot of public school teachers don't teach. A lot of public school administrators don't administrate. A lot of public school teachers or administrators, they're not even, should even be in the realm of education, because somehow they just got a job and they're literally babysitting our children for several hours of the day, most of the day, because the kids spend more time at school than home. And if they're not educating them correctly, then it should hurt the public school system. And these same individuals, these same Democrats, these same liberals, somehow, some way voted in, charter school. That's what's hurting the public school system, because we have two major high schools here in LA. Got Crenshaw, who, 5, 6,000 students when I was going there. Now probably down to barely 1,000. Washington High School here in South LA. And then there's probably about 20 charter schools surrounding the area. Okay. And that's what's hurting the public school system. So this is good. This is why we got to really understand, because this is not hate. It's all predicated on accountability, because the public school system should be hurt because what they're doing to our children, indoctrinating our children and lying to our children, telling our children you're trapped in the wrong body and all of this stuff. So it's a whole lot that's going on. So this is why there can't be a two-tier government. There can't be a duopoly, Republicans versus Democrat. It's supposed to be two republic, for which it stands one nation under God, and moral human beings, one race under God, moral human beings holding the federal government accountable, sure that they do what they say they're going to do. It is what it is. Let me see here, RJD. Now, that is a bad move. Moving control completely to the state is like how current housing tax controls and the type of school you have means, unless the value of your home, let me see here, your school will suffer. Well, I beg to, I disagree. I respectfully disagree with that, because each state is okay. Some states are liberal, some states are conservative. So when you sit back and have a one world, just one paintbrush, this is how it is. There's school districts that thrive off of that, but then there are some schools that literally drop the ball. And urban communities and urban schools, I believe they have to be managed by the state, because the state have to make sure that the students are being educated. And if you look at the prison system, this is how you know if the education is working. Here in the state of California, they spend $140,000 to incarcerate a man or a woman in prison. But they only spend $14,000 to educate. Okay. And we're dealing under a federal bureaucrats, DC bureaucrats. So if we could break that up, then maybe we could say, you know what, let's go ahead and invest in education, in a sum of $80,000, just split the difference, because we're investing in prisons. This is why the education program is so jacked up, because if your child not educated correctly and is not reading on grade level by the third or fourth grade, the projection of that child going to prison or jail is great. And we call it the prison pipeline system. Okay, you keep them uneducated, and then they will find themselves somehow behind somebody's bars, and our tax-paying dollars from the state level is going to pretty much pay for their resources in a sums of $140,000. So these are conversations we can have. So as a man, moral man of God, I believe that we can actually win-win. It shouldn't be Republicans versus Democrats. It should be the American people getting it right for everybody, and everybody should win. And everybody should. And one thing that I can attest that in this algorithm, in this chat, the education system is the one that makes a lot of people nervous. But just say, for instance, if I was a principal at a school and I got more resources and more power to make sure that my school was run correctly, then the school districts have to do a better job in their superintendents. They have to do a better job in the teachers that they pretty much hire. And then there have to be some accountability. If your kids are not passing the state test, it's not a federal test. If your kids are not passing the state, then the school will be punished. Okay. And the school will lose money. So we'll force the principal to make sure that the teachers are trained correctly, that they hire the right teachers, the right administrators, to put them in positions of power to empower the children. Because if the teachers, it trickles down. If the teachers are amazing, and are motivators and great educators, they will motivate and inspire the children to be great. I went to a public school and I had an amazing education. My sixth grade year, when elementary ended at sixth grade and you graduated, I had a male teacher. Okay. He was amazing. Okay. He taught us and put us on the right track. And he molded me to the man that I am today. And it was in elementary school, because it was a time when we didn't have charter schools. It was a time when if you didn't act in school, you had to go to reform school. You got kicked out. Okay. Because you didn't want to hurt the other students. But, it was a good thing. So all we're doing is pretty much making it accountable to teachers. So it is, yes, it is supposed to hurt public school education because they're hurting right now. And now they need to do an overhaul or some type of reform to make sure that they're educating and doing what's right. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. And we need to make sure what's going on. And Danielle basically says schools need to be teaching kids things they need to know and to be smart adults, not high scores on subsidized on a standardized test. You're absolutely right. So there's, new technology, there's new things and new ways of learning. But I truly believe if we pretty much break this thing up and not just have it from a federal level, have people in DC making decisions for schools all around this nation and pretty much meet each district, each school where they are and start educating. And it all starts from the top, because I know a lot of teachers that are educators and they shouldn't even be a teacher and educator. They just got a job. They just there. They're literally babysitting. I've walked on some campuses and, looked in the classroom, they're on the computer, the kids playing in the back, they just talking and wasting their time. So these are things that, I'm sure that they will, push up against because they don't want to be exposed. But our education on a public level, and I can only speak of urban, is failing, because there's no way that we should be having a prison pipeline organization. There's no way that our children should not be reading on grade level. And because that's the problem, because knowledge is power, because early childhood development is very important. And if you don't develop your children early on, okay, problems going down the road. And then if they can't read by the time they get to the 8th, 9th grade, they're going to start ditching classes because they don't even want to be they don't even want to be embarrassed. Okay. Let me see here. Lure them, break it down and build it up. That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it. And the Biden administration, remember, he was build back better. And the first thing that I said on all my platforms, to build back better, you got to break it down. And that's the American way. We go to other countries and regime change, tear down their country, and then nation build. Okay, repeal and replace. That's the name of the game, and I believe that works. No prayer in school was never a thing. Well, let me see. I don't think we prayed in school, but we did do the Pledge of Allegiance. We did do that, but I don't remember praying in school. But I don't think, based on just being taught by Black women and Black men, it was just a natural thing. But in a sense of the Pledge of Allegiance was what we did. And the Jehovah's Witnesses, they sat down over. But at the end of the day, we need to pray. We need to understand, and we need to get back to God. And let me see here. Also, no 10 commandments in school. Well, the 10 commandments literally don't mean anything, because according to the Bible, post-Moses law, Jesus literally said, first of all, honor thy God with your heart, mind, and your soul. Secondly, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And if you could do that, because at the end of the day, thou shalt not steal, kill. Okay, it's a time to kill. Okay, not saying you go kill somebody, but in the sense of self-defense. I mean, it's a moral thing. You don't go out just being a murderer, but everything, there's exceptions to the rule. But like I said, he mixed those 10 commandments down. Just love your neighbor as you love yourself. Okay, first of all, love God with your heart and your soul, and you're going to follow the rules. Secondly, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And the key component to love your neighbor as you love yourself is loving yourself. Because if you love yourself and respect yourself, if somebody try to, tell you or whatever, you'll sit back and I'm not saying you're going to give them a pass, but you're going to give yourself a pass and just ignore them, walk away, because you don't want yourself affected. Okay. And that it is what it is. Let me see here. We were taught to think by using puzzles in early education. Absolutely. But these kids are on iPhones and computers. So somebody said something about the economy. So start investing in opticals, because the stats are saying these kids at a very early age are on these devices and they're screwing their vision up. They're screwing vision up. It is what it is. And you're welcome, Danielle. I appreciate you, because at the end of the day, love God with your heart, mind, and your soul. Secondly, love your neighbor as you love yourself, and you'll be on the right path to do what you need to do. So let me see here. Everyone in America should win. This is why I created America. Okay. TV. And BLACK is an acronym for Black, Latin, Asian, Caucasian, kinsmen. And if you did not know, there's only 3 recognized races on the planet. And that's the Negroid, which is the Black man, the Caucasoid, which is the white man, and the Mongolian had that barbecue, and that's the Asians. Okay. And everything else, it's mixed all in between. And don't get mad at me, get mad at Dr. Leakey, because according to Dr. Leakey, the old from anthropology perspective, the fossils found on the continent of Africa is approximately 4.3 million years old. Okay, in the peninsula part of Africa, and that's where all humanity was created. So we're one race, the human race. So this is what come together and work hard to do what we need to do, and work as one cohesive unit, one race, the human race. And I agree with Mark in these comments, and bring back the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer in school. Absolutely. Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for everybody. And that includes all the pronouns, but you have minority groups want to make them he, she, and they, and all of that. And that is that small minority group that the majority is going to stop, that's going to have to stop being silenced and make sure that they understand, because nobody cares what you do behind closed doors. We don't. Okay. But at the end of the day, you guys are not running anything. Okay. But you're associated with a party that pretty much is predicated on progressives, predicated on, profiting and making money off of your insecurities. And it is what it is. But they took a shellacking this presidential election. They took a shellacking. Let me see here. Basic principles of honorable character. And this is Lua. Basic principles of honorable character and character development should be woven into the school environment and relationships. Self-mastery of character is a key to success. Listen, another mic. I mean, y'all killing it today, because that should be put in a frame and put in the hallways of every school in the United States of America, because that's the goal. Okay, that's the born in. That's the person who have turned away from their wicked ways. That's the individual that is on the right path, not only of success, but leading the frontier of a new generation and leading the frontier of their community, because those are standards to live by. Those are standards to live by. And I appreciate that. So it is what it is. So listen, man, Project 2025, we're going to, like I said, I'm going to take a deep dive in. I just did the bullet points. And I'm going to go read them before I get up out of here. I'm not going to give any context because I already did. And if you just tapped in, go back and watch it from the start. Okay, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullet points. And I didn't see anything negative. I've seen some things that I pretty much earmarked for conversation or debate. But it should be a conversation that's a win-win for everybody. So let me see here. I got a comment. Let me see here. Grace Hope. Let me see here. You're wrong for thinking your works will get you anywhere. Okay, let me see here. Walk with Jesus. Stay away from this insanity. Okay, see, that's a tool of the devil. Somehow Grace Hope has taken two words of grace and hope and came over here and truly and think that God's immoral. That think that God is immoral. God is not immoral. Okay, over here, what we're doing, Grace Hope, okay, is align ourselves with God by being the moral compass of this nation. Okay. Because somebody got to stand up for righteousness, Grace Hope. So I think you may have just heard just a little bit, but go ahead and hit the subscription notification, check out some of my videos. Cause at the end of the day, we're solidarity in the balance of the gap as Christ. Okay. He left us a position and we're going to handle what it is. Okay. So let me see here, Grace. Let me see here. She jumped back in the Bible. Let me see here. The Bible says not one is good. I understand that in the eyes of God. Let's get that. Let's correct that theology, Grace. Let's correct that theology, Grace. Okay. No one is good in the eyes of God. Sinners. But he gives us rules and instructions to live by. Okay. Because the wages of sin is death. Because what you're saying right now will actually unalive a human being, because you will make them think that they could just live their life anyway. And still, when the Bible doesn't say that, we're nothing but filthy rags in the eyes of God. But when we change from our wicked ways, when we start walking on the right path, when we start doing what is right, okay, it is what it is. And his judgment is the only one that matters. No one's judging. His judgment is the only one that matters. Okay. So that's like the sinner's prayer, because we know his judgment is the only one that matters. So therefore, we should be walking, living, talking, acting, being in a position to where on a daily basis, we are a reflection of God, because he is judging us. Jesus is the only, absolutely. I'm so glad that you just said that, because I'm sure you voted for Kamala Harris, and this is who I voted for and who I campaigned for. And I'm talking to Grace Hope. We wrote in Jesus Christ. So we know that he's the only answer, a name above every name. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that Jesus is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. This is what we did. You worked on the Trump campaign, and that's fine. Okay. But I'm saying is, you talking to a man who sacrificed his vote and wrote in his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because we need to fix this nation. We need to fix this nation. Okay. And we know that he only, God only judgment, but grace. I'm being brutally honest with you. Don't fall for those sinning talking points. Now, you are living an immoral life, boldly. If you are living an immoral life boldly, the things that you are saying are justifying and rationalizing your lifestyle, excuses and explanations. But when you truly believe and you truly love God, you're not such a much, but on a daily basis, you are dusting yourself off, making an educated decision to do what's right. Okay. And that's the point that I'm making, Grace, to do what's right. And the only way America will be who she is to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, is if a moral group will raise the bar of morality and stop living in this Sodom and Gomorrah atmosphere, because we know what happened in the Bible. We know what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah. We know what happened when the Israelites, Egypt, they ended up in Babylon and only two survived. That's Caleb and Jacob. We weren't alive. Dr. King said, mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. Some of us are forecasters and we see the glory of the coming of the Lord. So this is having these conversations, having these discussions, creating this content to share with the American people to make sure that we get off the path of unrighteousness to the path of righteousness. And at the end of the day, Grace, I love you, and just speak for yourself, because I could do all things through who strengthens me. All things. Okay. Speak for yourself. Now, God is my father. Okay. Born again, and I'm adopted into the holiest of the holiest family. So therefore I have no limitations. So you got to sit back and really understand, are you truly a believer? Because at the end of the day, you are exercising that you have no faith. You're exercising that you do not believe. And if you have no faith and you don't believe, Grace, then that means you're not saved. That means you're not saved. Because like I said, I'm who I am. Okay. He didn't change my personality. He changed my spirit. He changed my spirit. And I appreciate you for that. Grace admitted that she was wrong. Okay. And that's what God does. Because when you're dealing in the atmosphere of demonic energy, me and Grace would have been arguing and calling each other names. But when you love on each other, iron sharpens iron. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. We can come together and be one. And I believe that we can do this as American people. And I believe that we can actually come back and do what we need to do. And she did not admit anything. Grace just said, I am wrong. Okay, well, yes, you are wrong, Grace. Okay, because you can only speak for yourself. Okay, I'm speaking for God, because Jesus said, I didn't come to change the scribe or the Pharisees. I came to fulfill. So my job and my goal is to fulfill the will of God and to give you and offer you, God. That's why this presidential election, I wrote in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And I had the city lit. I had these all up and down Manchester and Inglewood, had them all in the community in Jesus Christ, because we cannot vote for the party of slavery. We wrote in Jesus Christ because we could not vote for the party of Jim Crow. We wrote in Christ because it is what it is. And Grace says Jesus is the only way, the only truth, the only life. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. So we agree to agree. And Grace, I hope you are a woman, whether you're a woman or male, but spiritually, I love you. and I appreciate you. And you have an amazing day, because it's about time for me to get up out of here. Let me see here. You are saying Trump is God appointed? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But in regards to Trump, the Bible says he'll use a fool to make uppity people, look dumb. Okay. So what I'm saying is God, controls everything. He didn't appoint Trump at all. He pretty much, became the president of the United States. Now it's on the people to arrest Trump as the president to do what's right. Because one thing that I learned, that we can't hide behind our bureaucrats or Democratic, elected officials, because they don't have our best interests at hand. So now we have an opportunity as human beings to basically, do what's right. Just like, our first call to action on day one with Donald Trump is to hold him accountable. We didn't hold Barack Obama accountable. He talked about hope and change. He just changed the gender of our children. We didn't hold Biden accountable. We just assumed that the Democrats had us, the Black Lives Matters, the Congressional Black Caucus, NAACP. We just assumed that they had our best interests, but turned out to be a lie. So for the first time in history, now that the Harris campaign got smashed, the American people, under the tutelage of God, the moral people, the nonpartisan independents, are going to, for the first time, see what it feels like and experience holding a president accountable. And when you look at Donald Trump, my call to action with my organization, The Better Black America, you could go to abetterblackамerica.com and read up on us, is to basically hold them accountable, because we're the working class. And the working class usually, gets the short end of the stick. So no tax on tips. That will help the dancers and the waitresses. No tax on overtime. And then he also said no tax on Social Security. So our job is to make sure he does that, because that will be specifically for the working class. And that will be the first call to action. Okay. And then once we get that, get him to do that, then we're going to continue to push forward, and we're going to do some more things, but we're going to hold Trump accountable. I'm not saying he was appointed by God. Is not what it is. And at the end of the day, Bill Phipps, this is a handsome, beautiful black man right here. And like I said, love your neighbors, you love yourself. And at the end of the day, I look amazing, because Bill Phipps says, who's looking dumb? I hope he's not talking about me, but it's the Democratic Party that's looking dumb. The Megan Thee Stallions, and I misread that. I'm sorry about that, Bill. The Megan Thee Stallions, the Democratic Party, the celebrities, the bourgeoisie, the fake blacks, the ones that we thought had our best interests, and I call them sellouts, coons, and Uncle Toms. That's who look dumb, Bill. And I appreciate you. Hit that like, notification, subscribe. And let me get up out of here. I got one more. He's not doing Project 2025. No, basically go back American in Ukraine and look at it. I went over 8 bullet points, and we're going to hit the notification, hit the like, help the algorithm, cost you anything. We're going to basically talk about it. But we already had the discussion, and I'm closing out right now. Okay, American in Ukraine. Jesus was an Israelite. Judaism and religion does not exist when he was born. Truly understand that. Truly understand that. You're talking to the choir right here. This is why we're talking about in faith, in spirit, in belief. Okay, because I don't have a religious bone in my body. But the only thing that we do agree with is that he was a man. And if you say he was an Israelite, he kind of looked like me. So appreciate. And at the end of the day, better than no tax on tips. Let me see here. How about no tax on breaks for the rich? Okay. And see, I'm gonna get up out of here because I got to. That's a trick, because just say, for instance, if all billionaires got tax breaks, most billionaires create jobs. Okay. If you create jobs and you have 20,000, 30,000, 1,000 employees, you shouldn't even have to pay taxes. See, that's a Democratic talking point, because when billionaires do good, it trickles down to the employees. But then when you start taxing the billionaires, what do? They make up the difference through layoffs, cutting costs, things of that nature. So it is what it is. No tax on paid on tips. Let me see here. Overtime of Social Security means significant revenue sources man, come on, man. Boom. That's my last mic drop. I got to roll, y'all. Tomorrow, I'm going to probably do a little longer today, but I got some things to do. Got some community meetings that I got to go to because I'm about that business. But I love y'all. And if y'all just tuning in, hit the hit the like, go back to the front. We broke down 8 bullet points on Project 2025. I ordered the book, and we're going to go ahead and talk about it. And it's what it is. So I appreciate y'all. You guys have an amazing day. I'll tap in with y'all tomorrow. Okay. So tap in with y'all tomorrow. So y'all have a good day. Peace out. Love y'all. I got to roll.